Hey, it's Stargirl, the Practical Witch. I'm back with another pick a card reading. This one is your childhood and how it affects you to this day. So I decided to use candles instead of crystals because I thought it'd be fun and different. So as usual, I want you to pick one of the 6 groups. Group 1, Group 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you need to pause the video and really look at them, feel free to do so. If not, you can go to the timestamps I provide down below and fast forward to the group you picked to see your childhood and how it affects you to this day. So I'm actually going to blow these out because I feel like this is a hazard to my health, my skin. So I'm just going to continue it without these candles being lit. I feel like it's my birthday. Okay, Group 1. Let's see what your childhood was like and how it affects you to this day. Okay, so when you were a kid, you probably had a lot of responsibility put on you, more responsibility than you probably should have had put on you as a child. You were probably trusted to do a lot of things or expected to do a lot of things someone like a child shouldn't be expected to do. I don't know, like take on more responsibilities, like watching your brothers or sisters, making sure they were fed, worrying about what time your siblings would. I see a lot of like taking care of the family, or maybe it's a parent. You're taking care of a parent who couldn't necessarily do all the things a parent could do. So they kind of relied on you to take care of their responsibilities, which is unfortunate, but it happens sometimes. And I see that it was very important to you to do that. The Chariot is ruled by the moon, and here we have the full moon card. So I see that you were very, like everything you did was very ruled by making sure your family was okay, taking care of family responsibilities. And it was very important to you to do those extra responsibilities your parents or guardians or whatever put on you. And you felt like it was your responsibility to make sure everyone was okay. It was your responsibility to put on a brave face. It was your responsibility to get things done. You were just required to be way more responsible than you had to be as a kid, because unfortunately maybe the guardians in your life weren't able to do all of their responsibilities. And I see it's made you put on a brave face. So now as an adult, you might always like seem like you have everything together. You seem like you have courage. You seem fearless because you're used to putting on that brave face and just getting what you need to done. You're used to being the leader. You're used to taking care of others. You might have a lack of synergy in your life. So, for instance, you might maybe spend a little too much time making sure others are okay or taking care of others. Or on the other hand, this childhood may have led you to be completely selfish because you never got to be selfish as a kid as you should. So now maybe, you know, you're all about you right now, which is fine, which is understandable. And that's what I'm seeing with the peacock right here. And also with the peacock, I'm seeing, you know, you finding your worth in taking care of people and handling things and putting on the brave face. I almost see you, like your childhood, you had to be the one who put on a brave face. You had to be the responsible person, even as a child. You had to make sure you acted like everything was fine because a lot of your guardians or siblings' happiness relied on you. So you had to put on a show almost, and you just had a lot of responsibility put on you as a kid, and that's really bleeding out on to you now as an adult. And you might find it difficult to find that synergy, that balance in your life. All right, so let us move on to group number 2. Okay, so as a child, one of your parents, or both of your parents, God willing, not both, but one of your guardians or parents, or maybe a really close sibling, someone in your immediate family, may have let you down or betrayed your trust a lot. So I don't know, maybe one of your parents abandoned you, both of your parents abandoned you, both of your parents were leading reckless lifestyles or just neglecting you, or, you know, some abuse happened. I don't know, but someone in your immediate family did not nurture you the way you should have been nurtured, and they neglected you in a certain way, whether it be, you know, like they were busy leading their own lives and didn't pay attention to you, whether it be they just completely abandoned you, whether it be they abused you. They just did something to totally betray your trust, someone you're really close to in your family, and that just completely shattered you. So you almost made it after that, you've almost made it your life path to completely reinvent yourself. You almost went, I'm never going to be like that, I'm not going to be like them, I can't stand them. So you almost found your own way. You might also start to seek validation by the way that you look now as an adult, or maybe you did after that incident happened. You probably, so I got the tree, which is grounding, and then the love tree. So the tree is grounded, and then it's a love tree. So I almost feel like you found your grounding or your place in relationships, maybe to fill that void of what one of these people close to you left. So you almost feel like the only time you feel safe and grounded is when you feel loved or in a relationship or have that kind of romantic love. You probably completely changed as a person because of that incident, you know, like no child should be betrayed by someone close to them, you know, but it really just transformed you as a person, almost to the point where you just want to be the complete opposite of whoever it was that hurt you. You want to learn new things and find your own way and find your own path in life. And you might find it hard as an adult to find that compassion or forgiveness in your heart for them, which is totally understandable. You might find it hard to forgive anyone. You might find it hard to get close to anyone, even though a lot of your security might be in feeling loved by someone else, just to fill that void. Or on the other hand, this might have hurt you so much that it really developed your compassion for other people. So your ability to feel for other people is just magnetized tenfold because you went through such a pain in your childhood, and you have so much love to give to other people because you understand pain, you understand coming from a place, my cat, you understand coming from a place of hurt, so you're able to support other people and give them the love that they require. And maybe this incident really transformed you as a person, that really made you grow as a person. I'm also seeing that, and made you grow, completely rebirth yourself and grow into a stronger person. But I'm sorry you had to go through that. All right, group number 3. Okay, so your childhood was probably really sheltered. I'm getting like homeschool vibes almost, or like private school vibes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I totally would do that if I had kids. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm feeling like your parents probably sheltered you, like a religious upbringing a little bit, like, or just really super sheltered you from like everything in the world. Maybe you were like outrageously strict about what you watched on TV. Just really, really sheltered you from the real world is pretty much what I'm getting at. And it was a really like wholesome kind of family, a wholesome religious kind of family, or you had a wholesome religious upbringing, or some kind of just wholesome, protective, sheltered childhood. And like I've said, I got the fog veiled, so a lot of things in the world were veiled to you because everything was so happy, or maybe it was just really happy-go-lucky in your house, so you weren't really aware about the outside world and how rough the world can be because you were very sheltered by your parents and your childhood. So a lot of like the rough parts of the world were very hidden to you. You had no idea. So, you know, as you get older, you get curious. So you might have rebelled a little bit and like wanted to know what else is out there and strayed from the path just to see like what they were sheltering you from. Or maybe you were just curious, like, you know, you had a glimpse of your friends and like their families weren't like this. So maybe you went on a little bit of a, not rebellious, maybe rebellious, but a little bit of your own path to discover yourself. And you might not have fit in with people because you're so sheltered, or may not have felt like you could relate to people. So you might have developed some self-love issues. Like you feel like your parents loved you, but that's it. Like everyone in the world didn't understand you. So you might have felt alienated. And now as an adult, you might have some self-love issues. You might have, or maybe you had great self-love because you grew up in such a sheltered environment. I'm not sure. But being that alienated, I'm seeing that maybe you escaped into your imagination a lot because you were so sheltered, and your parents probably sheltered you from a lot. So instead of interacting with a lot of other kids, because you felt alienated, you probably went into the deep imagination of your own mind, and it's probably really made you creative now. Like you're a really creative person because you had to use your imagination so much because you felt so alienated. But yeah, I'm just really seeing a very sheltered, like I see that fog childhood, trying to see what else is out there on that vision quest, and you know, but overall pretty good childhood. I mean, besides, you know, being super sheltered, but there's worse things, right? All right, group number 4. Okay, so with your childhood, you probably had a narcissistic parent, or I don't even want to put it that strict. You probably had a parent who was very image focused, and they were very successful, and they expected you to be successful, and they expected you to be a really good reflection of themselves. So yeah, kind of narcissistic in a way, narcissistic parenting. They probably had high expectations of you. They wanted you to be a good reflection of them. They were always strict. They disciplined you. They wanted you to do well in school. They wanted you to succeed. And you just couldn't live up to that expectation. You might have disappointed them. Their expectations might have been way too high. They sort of wanted you to follow their path, what their life purpose for you was. They wanted you to be a reflection of themselves, maybe fulfill things that you never did, or they never did. So because of that, you might had like a loss of self-identity. So you might have done a lot of inward introspection, really not sure of who you were, because you know you didn't want to be this person your parent was trying to get you to be. But at the same time, you weren't sure of your worth because you just couldn't live up to their expectations. So you might have felt really down about yourself, you know. And you weren't sure what you were supposed to do. You just knew that wasn't it. But, you know, this actually made you develop into this really amazing person inside, because the fact that, you know, one of these important people in your life, you couldn't live up to their expectation and you were constantly letting them down. So naturally you do self-reflection. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me, right? You actually turned yourself into an amazing person because of all the self-reflection you did, and you're probably more self-aware than most people you meet, because you really had to, like, most people get that unconditional love from your parents. You probably didn't, or like someone who was raising you, you didn't. So you had to find that worth within yourself, making you like this great person. It's like you earned it for yourself, and you found your life purpose on your own, you know, without any support. So that's just really fantastic. Okay, let's move on. Group number 5. Okay, so your childhood, I'm not seeing was awful, but I'm seeing it was very like strict by the book. They were very like strict on bedtimes and having a TV in the room, computer in the room, which is like nothing wrong with that at all. But they were almost like your jail warden rather than a parent. They were more concerned with writing the rules and saying their authority was word. They weren't really interested in emotionally connecting with you. They just wanted to make sure you stayed out of trouble. They pretty much just wanted to be good parents. They just had a hard time maybe connecting with you on a deep emotional level. So they were very strict, very cold, but you know, they meant well. They just wanted to keep you out of trouble and made sure you did well. They're the type of parents to say, because I said so. They follow it by the book. They're not someone you can just like chill with, like one of your friends, or you they're not parents you call your friends, really. They're more like wardens, like guardians. It's hard to connect with them. You might feel like you didn't get the love you needed. They were very inflexible about anything. They didn't really want to hear your emotions or your thoughts or feelings. They knew what was best all the time. You probably felt suffocated, like you couldn't breathe around them. You're always walking on eggshells. You're scared of getting in trouble. So because of this, you might have, now as an adult, you might be someone who overcompensates by that, by giving people lots of affection and being very nurturing, because that's something you didn't get as a child, because your parents didn't really touch the emotional aspect, or your caretakers didn't really touch the emotional aspect. They just really touched the disciplining and raising, and make sure you grew up okay. But and then because of this, you might feel like it's your responsibility to make sure everyone is taken care of, make sure, like, just be really nurturing, because that's something you didn't receive as a kid, so now you're trying to compensate it for other people. So, yeah, that's really sad. But, it could be worse. It could be worse. Everyone's childhood was not ideal. As I move on to group number 6. All right, so your childhood... I'm seeing that you had a close relationship with one or both of your parents. Very close, like really good friends. Completely different from the last one. And you guys bonded really well. Like one of the parents or both of your parents were like your best friends. You can talk to them about anything in the world. Or maybe you had 2 parents as role models, like one of the few parents that actually stayed together that you look up to, and you're like, wow, one day I want that in a partner. That's the kind of family structure I want. So this is just a really, really good childhood, like just straight up good. I don't see anything bad, really. I mean, there's always a little bad in every childhood, but generally this is really good. You had a close relationship with a loving parent. You had a good role model, either one parent or 2 parents who you really bonded with, had a really good example to lead by. Maybe your parents were both together and still in love, and like it was just really inspiring to you. Or maybe you just had one parent and they were just you guys were really close, like soulmate connection, like, and soulmates could be with anyone, guys. Like you guys just could tell each other anything, and you guys were best friends, which is awesome. The Queen of Wands also states that one of your parents was also very consciously aware about the world. So unlike group number 1, they didn't really shelter you. They really tried to make sure you were grateful for everything you had. They didn't spoil you. So even though you had a close relationship with them and you had a good relationship with your parents, they didn't spoil you rotten. They made sure you appreciated the value in things. They taught you gratitude, how to be grateful. They raised you to be a really good person. They raised you with a good self-esteem, a good ego, so, a strong sense of self, which is really important in this world, as we all know. And they also raised you to have really good perspective on what's going on around you. So, like, not just you were in a bubble. They really taught you to be grateful, like I said, and really showed you, like, bigger causes. Like, maybe one year they took you to go feed the homeless during Christmas. They really cared about bigger causes and like to show you how lucky you were. And they really put things in perspective for you. They didn't treat you like a spoiled brat, even though they were close friends with you. And they taught you a lot. They just taught you a lot of really positive things, and they taught you to be a really good person. And all I'm seeing out of this is, like, you had a really good childhood. And you've learned a lot. Like, you just all in all turned out to be like an A+ person, like a 10 out of 10 person. So that's awesome. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys. I hope this helped gain perspective on your childhood and how it affects you to this day. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you like the candles. I'll see you later.